Welcome back to the news. It's head Ayotuna Balogun joins me now. He has more on the match between Nigeria and Ghana played earlier today.
Yes, certainly it was a cracking game at that, but in the end Nigeria suffered its second defeat actually at the African Nations Championship at the hands of a 10-man Ghana with a 4-1 penalty loss. Despite controlling the game from start to finish, the home-based Eagles couldn't make it count as they wasted chance after chance in the semi-final encounter at the Free State Stadium in Bloemfontein. The Keshi-led side struggled to break down their opponents, but the Ghanaians held on for a famous victory over their West African rivals. Ghana will now face Libya in the final of the competition, while Nigeria will have to take on Zimbabwe in the losers' final.
Saving the first, can Steven Adams save against Uzoeni here, who tucks it away comfortably. To take a 2-goal advantage in, and struck home powerfully. Signs of discomfort, the earlier groin injury. Steven Adams on the line, Kwame. Denied, Adams pulls out the save that gives Ghana the advantage. And this one side gets an unassailable lead. Big game, Anuson had. Can he cap it all off with a successful penalty conversion? This time he does. Goes high and to the corner. Ghana lead 3-1 in the penalty shootout. Up against Steven Adams. Just made the save. Advantage of the situation that had been handed to them, but that kick now sends Ghana into the final for the second time.
Well, earlier before the game between Nigeria and, of course, Ghana, Libya booked its place in the final of the African Nations Championship after beating the Warriors of Zimbabwe 5-4, also on penalties. The Mediterranean Knights defended for large periods in the game and were content with trying to catch their opponents on the break, as the semi-final encounter produced no goals either. Zimbabwe were unable to turn their dominance to goals and will blame themselves for not winning the game in regulation time.
Him in, out of goal, he doesn't need to, in fact. The save could prove vital for the team, and Peter Moyo has missed. Salama, denied by Chigova. Oh, this time saved by Nashdouche. We're winning their only fully competitive international back in 1999, but for a place in the final here, Chigova, second successive save to keep Zimbabwe's hopes alive. Denied, Nashdouche fins it away. It'll be a little goalkeeper on goalkeeper action. Nashdouche, high on confidence after the penalty save a moment ago, to put Libya into the final. Takes a long run up against George Chigova, sends Libya into the final of this Orange African Nations Championship.
Well, it may interest you to know that the last time Ghana and Libya met in the final of an African tournament was way back in 1982 at the African Cup of Nations when Libya hosted. But of course, the Ghanaians went on to win that also on penalty kicks. Well, away from that one, back home here in Nigeria, the Globe Premier League, Sunshine Stars will host Enyimba in the star match of the opening week of the new domestic league season, which begins on February the 23rd. Well, the six-time champions Enyimba, who on Tuesday evening won the Super 4 pre-season tournament in Abuja, narrowly missed out on winning the championship last season, while Sunshine Stars finished a disappointing 12th. The champions Kano Pillars will be away to newly promoted Giwa FC of Jos in the opening day's action. Another interesting game will be that involving Heartland and Dolphins in Owerri. To the NBA, David West scored 19 points and pulled down 8 rebounds to help lead the Indiana Pacers past the struggling Los Angeles Lakers 104 points to 92. Now the Pacers, who own the NBA's best record, also going to double from Lance Stevenson with 15 points and 14 rebounds when star Paul George shot just 4 of 21 from the field. The Lakers are still without several players owing to injury, including stars Kobe Bryant and Steve Nash, and their struggles continued as they fell for the 5th game in a row this season.
Two Lakers hit him, he goes to the deck and he still scores. He'll get a free throw.
Him being a closer, fourth quarter time,
Look out.
It's pretty bad. 2 for 8 from the field, 1 for 3 from the free throw line. Lakers turn it over again. There's 6 of the game. All the way, lay it up and in. That's George Hill. Remember, he came over in that Kawhi Leonard deal.
They don't have ISO players, really. I mean, they can throw the ball to Powell and let him ISO a little bit. Sometimes Nick Young is. Lance Stevenson, another layup and a three.
Well, 9 days before the Sochi Games kick off in the Black Sea resort of Sochi, the Olympic torch reached the capital of the Chechen Republic, Grozny, before heading to Ingushetia in the volatile North Caucasus region. It's an area where militants wage daily violence, or almost every day, to try to establish an Islamic state in the patchwork of mostly Muslim regions in the Caucasus Mountains between the Caspian and Black Seas. Since Russian President Vladimir Putin held the torch aloft in Red Square on October the 6th, bearers have taken the Olympic flame to the North Pole and will bring it to Europe's highest peak, that's Mount Elbrus, in the longest torch relay before any Winter Games. And world number 1 Rafa Nadal had taken anti-inflammatories and undergone intensive physiotherapy to alleviate a lower back problem and still planned to compete in Buenos Aires next month. The world number 1 had tests on the injury which wrecked his chances in Sunday's Australian Open final in Barcelona on Tuesday, followed by the treatment before returning to his native Mallorca to get some rest. Nadal still intends to play in the clay event in Buenos Aires of Argentina starting on February the 10th, followed by the tournament in Rio de Janeiro, also on clay, and the hardcourt Masters events at Indian Wells and Miami. Well, that's it on the sports news. The news at 10 continues shortly.
Well, former Ukrainian Prime Minister yesterday did much to dissuade the anti-government protesters from demonstrating, but the protests have continued. They now seem to be more determined than ever to continue demonstrating until their entire demands are met. Cynthia Arrow has details.
In actuality, the situation has gotten so bad that the former president, Leonid Kravchuk, has warned that the country is on the brink of civil war. His statements come as parliament debates an amnesty for protesters. The Ukrainian president wants any amnesty to be conditional on protesters leaving official buildings, and that's a proposal which has been rejected by the opposition. Also today, President Barack Obama has promised that with or without the backing of Congress, he will tackle inequality. He made this statement in his annual State of the Union address. He also pledged to take steps without legislation wherever possible, announcing a rise in the minimum wage for new federal contract staff. The president also spoke about alliances across Africa, which is bringing together businesses and governments to double access to electricity and help end extreme poverty.
What I offer tonight is a set of concrete, practical proposals to speed up growth, strengthen the middle class, and build new ladders of opportunity into the middle class. Some require congressional action, and I'm eager to work with all of you. But America does not stand still, and neither will I. So wherever and whenever I can take steps without legislation to expand opportunity for more American families, that's what I'm going to do.
And there you have it. Those are the top stories on the foreign scene.
Thanks a lot, Cynthia. And the main news again, former presidential candidate Ibrahim Shekarau has dumped the APC for PDP, calling on all supporters to join hands with the umbrella party in building a strong nation. 11 PDP senators today notified the Senate President of their intention to quit the party for the APC. And Southern Kaduna Group has endorsed President Goodluck Jonathan for a second term in office, advising him to run again. And President Barack Obama has dared the U.S. Congress, saying he will move on by tackling economic inequality with or without congressmen. And that's it on the News at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.